Welcome to Caching Waves. This is going to be an Elliott wave discussion around Bitcoin dominance and altcoin cycles. Now, first of all, if you want to find a chart like this, it's the Bitcoin cycle. Just go on Google and search Bitcoin cycle, look at the images, and you'll find several of these. One thing you'll notice if you go back and run history yourself is we tend to get these cycles between Bitcoin dominance, price, and what the alts do. Now, they don't exactly copy each other each cycle, but they mirror each other. So it can give you a good indicator of what to expect to come. Now, my biggest regret in previous cycles in crypto is not holding long enough my alts, because they tend to perform pretty incredibly. And when your position sizes get too big or your profit margin, you might decide because of emotion to get out of a market. So if your goal is to hang on as long as possible, this is where these extra indicators can help. Obviously, we use other things along with Elliott wave, and combining all these things together allows us to get out at close to the top as long as we are reading these cycles properly. So going on with Bitcoin dominance, what we look for in a alt season, which is what I'm trying to find when that is starting, is these two here. I got my arrows, they keep flashing. The bottom one and the third from the bottom. And what we're looking for is Bitcoin dominance to go down in both scenarios. We also are looking for Bitcoin price to go up at the same time as altcoins are going up. The difference being altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin in price. The other situation is Bitcoin dominance going down. Bitcoin is in a correction, most oftentimes a fourth wave, as altcoins are exploding in their own third wave, as in being a little bit lagging behind. And this is the situation I'm looking for, where Bitcoin is correcting in a fourth wave, in the future in the fifth. If you haven't seen my Bitcoin video, it was the last update. If that plays out as expected, this is the scenario I would want to see. So it's basically Bitcoin has outperformed the alts in a fast move, perhaps from this area up to, say, 80K plus, new all-time highs. It then grinds sideways, and people take profits and move those profits into altcoins. So that's where altcoins outperform Bitcoin during a fourth wave. So I'm going to show you a scenario just in the last cycle. This is just a third wave in Bitcoin, but I want to show you how that plays out in altcoins. So this is going back to the COVID low. So one thing you'll notice here, this chart on the left is BTC dominance. If you're looking for that ticker, it's BTC.D, crypto cap here. And if you don't know this software, it's just a website. It's TradingView.com. I have a link in the description. There's a completely free version where you can look at all these. Doesn't cost a penny. There's also a pro version if you use my codes there. I think there's a discount, but it just gives you more options, more alerts, more amount of charts, etc. But it is completely free if you want to check that in the description and follow along yourself. So this is kind of rough, but I just wanted to show you that scenario. Remember, we're looking for Bitcoin dominance to go down as Bitcoin price is going up, as well as altcoins going up. So first of all, we had a drop here of 42% in Bitcoin dominance. I just went with candle closes here rather than the peaks, and I lined them up. So if you see my orange line there, it's the same date, same week. If you see my white line, it's the same week between all three charts. So this is Bitcoin dominance. This is Bitcoin price. This is total 3. What total 3 is the total market cap of the altcoins. So it's the total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So basically the altcoins. So during this period between these lines, we had Bitcoin dominance going down, Bitcoin prices going up, as well as altcoin prices going up. The big thing to pay attention, which is why I I will give you my thesis of how I think this is going to play out, but not in this video. I just want to show you how these cycles work. But you'll see we had our first drop here on Bitcoin dominance. And during that time, if we go over here, line up that line, Bitcoin was going up while altcoins were way outperforming Bitcoin. So that was our first drop in Bitcoin dominance. And you can see we haven't even started dropping there. So one thing to note, during these periods, this is what I look for. You see Bitcoin gets the move first. So if we look in this area, this is Bitcoin in the middle. It broke out well ahead of when the altcoins did. This was a fourth wave within a third wave. This is our third wave. This was a fourth wave within that third wave extension. And when we got in that fourth wave, that's where we talked about dominance going down right here as Bitcoin is in a correction and altcoins outperform. That's what I have marked off here. You can see during that period we had a correction. Bitcoin did make a higher high for its fifth and that third. It moved 81%. But during that period, altcoins ran, as according to market cap here, in total market cap, 580%. So that's what I'm talking about. So you can see we had this delay right here where Bitcoin took off, went up massively to this zone, about 170%. Well, the altcoin market cap only went up 30%. So that's what I mean. It's a lagging scenario. And what's interesting about that, if I zoom back out here, is if we look at that COVID low, that was our wave 2 in Bitcoin because we didn't invalidate the wave 1. But in altcoins, that was actually the COVID low for altcoins. So this was actually our 1-2. We were one wave behind, which makes sense that we caught up in our third wave while Bitcoin was actually in its fourth wave. So I'm going to go to Bitcoin dominance where we are now, but that's just what I wanted to show you why we track Bitcoin dominance to give us indications of what to expect next, right? Let's go to the daily. Let me cover this up here. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. So what I'm looking for this was the move here where the altcoins outperformed Bitcoin massively. So looking at the current dominance, this is the entire history. This is when altcoins started coming out, right? You can see as Bitcoin dominance dropped. We don't have a lot of history on this chart. My expectation is we're probably going to move more like long-term Forex charts and a lot of WXY complex corrections. So what we're looking for in this area is Bitcoin dominance to drop, Bitcoin price to move up, as well as altcoins moving up. So that's what I'm looking for from in and around the next few days to months, but relatively soon. We need this to continue. So my larger term count here is that we have an A wave correction, most likely a double zigzag. This is either an A or a W. This was a expanded flat here, 5 waves up, and looking for a matching wave here for a C wave or a Y if this is a double zigzag. Now all this is creating on the very large time frame, as far as I'm going to go, is a flat pattern. A, B, 3, 3, 5. Right? You can see we don't go any lower than like 30%, and we don't go higher than like 70. So this is my expectation currently if we get a alt season. Again, if we get an alt season. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Please be very clear with my words. I am not saying this is going to happen. I am saying if we get an alt season, this is what we expect to see with Bitcoin dominance. So this is why we follow this chart. It's funny, so many people follow so many things like USDT, dominance, just random stuff. Honestly, fear and greed is kind of trash in my opinion. So I focus on the ones that try and keep it as simple as possible. Look at history repeating and see if those indicators worked or that method. And if they didn't, get rid of them, right? So keep it to the most simple ones possible so you can get conviction in your trades. So what I am looking for is this move down and down to the 1-to-1 extension, which would take us to around 31.8%. It's also important to note is I want it to be a similar length in time as well. So this should happen quickly before the end of 2026 would be ideal. So we're just literally trying to take this exact wave. Where's that? Where's my bars pattern? Trying to take this exact wave. Whoa. Off this high. That's what we're looking for. Potentially take a little longer because C waves take longer than A's, but it should be that extreme if we're getting an alt season. Okay. So we have this A wave. We're looking for a 3, 3, 5 to the upside to complete our B wave in yellow before we get our C wave to the downside. Other interesting things here to note, if I pulled the fibs from this A wave in yellow down, you can see we're actually in the golden zone right now between 57.84 and 59.4 dominance. We're right there. So this is a 3 wave B, WXYB, ABCX, ABC, looking for 5 waves to the upside. So focus in on this C wave. This was a pretty tough count, but I have this as a wave 1, 2, very extended third wave, fourth, and extended fifth wave as well as a diagonal. I like the fact that this is shaping out as a diagonal. So we have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, still on 5 here. Now, ideally, I wish we had spiked up here, hit the outer boundary line here of our contracting trend lines, and then reverse. But it is what it is. It looks like we're just getting exhausted here and looking for a very fast drop within the next weeks to a month-ish. These are daily candles. It's important to note that this whole count falls apart if we pass 60.27. Just go between log and linear. Reason being, third wave in our diagonal cannot be the shortest. It is shorter than wave 1, so our wave 5 would be longer than wave 3 if we pass that 60.27. So you can see we're very close. So we'll see if this plays out. And what we expect when this does complete, whether it's from here or a little tick higher, is at the end of a diagonal, we want a swift reversal. And minimum target at the end of a fifth wave is the beginning of the diagonal. So all the way back here at 48%. Now, ideally, this starts a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 within that C wave. But if this isn't actually 5 waves over here and this is just a zigzag, we would actually expect similar, but just another zigzag as a double zigzag for that B wave. So this is what I'm looking for, guys. Do we get this? So I'm going to do an entire thesis, including price and counts between Bitcoin and alts in the future. But I just wanted to let you know what I'm looking for here on Bitcoin dominance and how I expect a altcoin season to pan out. So we'll see what we get. Now, I do have targets as well, but I don't want to get into those right now. This video is long enough. We're at 15 minutes, but I'll look to do something perhaps on the weekend, this upcoming weekend, where I can tie this all together. And remember, I'm not telling you this is going to happen. There's a weird thing in YouTube I noticed just looking at what other people are posting and whatnot, that everyone's just looking for confirmation bias. If you're one of those people, please leave my channel. Because you are mentally unstable, honestly. If you're just looking for someone to say, yeah, it's going up and it's going to happen exactly like this channel is not for you. We look for theses. We're looking for it to pan out. We don't get upset when we lose one trade because that's not how the wave works. It gives us high probability trade setups in areas where we can get trend continuation. That's all it does. From there, it's how good you are at analyzing those waves, right? To give you extra edge. All right, guys, but that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.